We'd like to welcome everybody back to the Call on Me podcast. Once again, we got Miss Monica.
Hey.
Got King over here. He mad because he ain't got no catchphrase.
Tongue out, buns out. Hey.
But today, we talking about life in the blended family, man. There's some ups, there's some downs, a lot of different things you got to deal with. Go ahead and throw it to King.
He throwing it to me.
He blended.
Yeah.
See, light skin, it definitely blended.
He blended.
Definitely blended. So I grew up in a blended family. My mom married a man. She had a couple baby daddies. And then I, as an adult, married, and my wife had a child before us. So it has its ups and downs. I mean, I think that it was a blessing for me to see what a man should do regardless of whatever the situation is, as far as being able to provide things that I missed or I wanted, I'm able to give to my daughter on the outside looking in. But I mean, it has challenges, a lot of challenges, because I mean, I think sometimes it's okay when things are on the upside, like shopping or you doing stuff for them, but when it comes down to the punishment, sometimes
I was about to say the discipline seemed like the hardest thing I would have to
Is her
deal
dad
with.
around?
You know.
So you are the disciplinarian.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. See, my situation is a little different because I raised my stepchildren. I've been in their life since they were born. So I am the disciplinary with them.
Well, I'm disciplinary.
Okay, I am. And it's weird because one of my son's mother is remarried, and my husband got upset one day because his stepfather whooped him. And he said, I'm active. I'm his father.
Man,
don't touch my child. You call me. You talk to me about it first. And I told him, I said,
I could never.
I said, well, wait a minute.
Like
I said, that's not going to work because
man.
I'm the stepmother. And she doesn't tell me I can't discipline. Yeah. So how are you going to tell him he can't discipline?
Well, you got to have a I think both parents have to have a relationship, though.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
definitely need a relationship.
It's hard. So we were talking about this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I have 5 children. 3 are my biological children. 2 are my stepsons. And then their mothers have 4 and 5 children with 4 or 5 different men. So their brothers and sisters have brothers and sisters. So when I see them, I call them, your brother, your brother's brother, your sister's brother. And we all end up knowing each other. And we have to try to co-parent together because we don't all agree on a lot of things. For instance, Zay, his family didn't believe in Halloween. And his birthday was the day before Halloween. So she asked for a C-section to not deliver him on Halloween.
Damn, that's deep.
So he was not allowed to, or she did not want him to participate in Halloween when he was younger.
My mama felt some type of way about Halloween.
About Halloween.
It's the devil's day.
When they start doing Halloween at like the churches and stuff like that, it was okay. Yeah. But really, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just the location was different.
From, yeah.
So with co-parenting, some of those things, wanting the kids for the 4th of July, wanting the kids for Thanksgiving, it's kind of hard to get on those schedules because
holidays is tough.
Yeah, holidays are tough. So she might, 2 of her kids, their father might have them that weekend, and she wants all her kids for Christmas. Well, this is supposed to be my Christmas. So it can get complex sometimes.
Yeah, see, I got a whole different perspective because, I'm the one that created the blended family in my household. But, I mean, I get to see firsthand some of the struggles, my daughter being older, and sometimes I gotta step in and Nitra might say one thing that I might not have known, then I say something different, and it creates an issue between me and my wife because it feel like that I just stepped over her and I got the final say so because that's biologically my child,
But see, to me,
even when I don't intend for it to be like that.
To me, that's not even hard. I think that's just part of parenting, whether it's blended or not.
Yeah.
That's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think sometimes blended, a challenge that you have is sometimes you extend family too. So like my wife family might be a little closer to my kids than mine are per se.
Yeah.
So if
different upbringings and everything.
Well, even that though, but like you might, like one of them might say something to my kids and they don't necessarily sit well with me.
Yeah.
You got to be able to bite that
Oh,
damn
yes.
tongue.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take their power away either. But
Yes.
then at the end of the day, if I might say something and then you think that you know what's best, so you think you can go behind me and fix
say
it,
something, yeah.
and that ain't how it work. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that, to me, that'd be the most scariest part. To me.
I didn't have some scary parts because, you know, like one of my stepsons, he lives in a not so great area, and I had been asking for him for years to come and stay with us. Well, you know, she didn't want him to come and stay for multiple reasons. I think finances were one of them.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't want that support to stop, but I wanted the best for him.
money.
So eventually, she ended up agreeing with me to let him go to school in our district, and his grades have improved so much. His grammar, his
Environment
punctuation, the way he acts and everything. But it was hard because, you know, now he's about to be 12.
Yeah.
When he was 5 and 6, you know, I would say something like, "Stop jumping on my couch. You jump on your mama's couch." And he would say, "Yes." And, you know, that's not the rebuttal.
You.
That's not the rebuttal you would normally
Hell
expect
yeah,
for
I
a child.
do.
Yeah, jump on my mama's couch.
Why you think I'm jumping on yours?
So then it turned into, well, you're not at your mom's house. You can't jump on my couch. And then sometimes I had to learn where my kids, where I might say, you know, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And I say that to them, and they go tell their mom, "Well, Monica cussed me." Yeah, I cussed at all my kids. I
Yeah.
didn't leave them
this
out.
is who I am.
I didn't
Yeah.
separate them. But then I do get a lot of feedback from my friends where they're like, "Oh, you do too much for your stepkids. Those aren't your kids.
See,
You know,
that's
send them
tough.
home for summer break," because, you know, I am going through a divorce. So they feel like I have literally taken on that motherly role, and
And that you supposed to just stop.
I'm supposed to stop. No, I've been their mother their whole life.
Yeah, there's no stopping.
And even
I think
their
I
mothers
think once
feel
you-
like I'm
once
their
you-
mother.
Once you invest it,
Yeah, you can't.
it's no pulling back.
No.
I think that, you know, and I, you know, not to put my personal business out there, but that's what kind of happened with us. When they got a divorce, it was kind of like a pullback. I mean, and it got ugly too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I mean, may he rest in peace. We just recently passed. So, you know, before he passed, we was blessed enough to be able to get in the room with him and, you know, had that conversation. That should have probably happened 15 years ago.
Right.
But there's
Yeah.
still so many unanswered
Pride
questions.
and
or
all
what-
that stuff getting
you know,
away.
and it wasn't nobody's fault though.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily because you're just a human. Like, and you don't really realize it until it's almost too late. Like,
Yeah.
like, damn.
Well, I see a lot of
And it
times.
can turn into a tug of war. Like,
Yeah,
and he had
exactly.
mine. But
Yeah,
check this out,
and
though.
that's what I was about to
you know
say.
what I mean?
I'm about to
feel like
kill y'all.
somebody's intruding on your
on your space, yeah.
He had biological kids. And it was more of a see him sometimes, see him not. So I'm sure they feel the same way, like, well, damn. He was with them. Like, I'm sure he got way, like, he used to do a lot of videography. I'm
Yeah.
sure he got way more film and camera but than he could even imagine having with them.
Right.
But again, as a man, you don't know what they was going through
Exactly.
before. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know.
But I see that a lot on social media, and it baffles me when I see guys say stuff like, "Bitch, you can move on, but my kids don't need to be around that nigga." It's like, well, wait a minute.
It don't work like that.
Hold on.
Like,
Hey, you wanted to move on, and she's a full-time mother, and she takes care of her child. And if she's a good woman, she won't have anybody around her child who she doesn't feel like will treat the child right.
Yeah.
So how is that supposed to work?
But on another note, let me tell you, I see it from another avenue. So this dad ain't really in the kid life like the mom wants.
Yeah.
But he starts playing football, and now the daddy want to come around, and she would say, "You only want to come around because he play football and he good." Well, damn, if that's the relationship they start
pushed him
building.
back away.
But if that's
Let
what
him
it took
build.
for him to start building a relationship, see, I'm not a typical woman when it comes to stuff like that. Like, if I put my child in sports and you've been a shit ass father, and I call you and say, "Hey, he plays every Friday at, you know, Riverside. The game
Yeah.
start at 7," and you come. Hey, that's great. I'm not gonna be the mom to be like, "Oh, this motherfucker only want to come to take pictures." No, I don't have to do that because
Whatever
eventually,
relationship you get,
yeah,
you
because
get,
eventually
yeah.
your children realize that.
Sometimes people, they go overboard to where it's not even about the child.
It's no longer
more.
about the child.
Like, cause now you putting up barriers when a nigga might be trying,
Oh yeah.
and he might just say "fuck it" for real now.
Well, even with me, you know, my first stepson, he was born right after high school, while we were in high school. And his mother and I, we never really had confrontation ever. You know, we
Yeah.
always got along. They used to send me flowers on Mother's Day, cards on Mother's Day, and we learned to embrace each other. Now, my second son's mother, we didn't get along very well. You know, my husband and I separated. He met her. He slept with her. You know, they had a baby. She had other kids and all that kind of stuff. And we could never get on the same page with parenting. And I think she felt like, I want him to be a father without you trying to be a mother. And that was not part of the deal.
I mean,
I used to have to push that. I don't want to be your son's mother, but if he's coming to my house, this is just who I am. I'm mother-like. Yeah. You know, I'm the mom at home. I cook, I clean, I change Pampers. No, and I think now she embraces that because had I not been there, exactly.
You get more.
So it's hard.
That's how it should be approached. Not that this is your replacement.
No,
I mean,
because I ain't trying to replace
with my daughter. I mean, it started with me, you know, coming to my wife, like either you in or you out.
But you can't,
because I don't want that in between, and I want you to still be able to make decisions, still be able to do this.
If you don't love what comes with
you know, that's what I always tell people. You cannot, if you don't love what I reproduce, you cannot love me because this is what I made.
Are you in
or out?
Or are you
and
out?
I think for me,
there's no 80-20, no 60-40, no 75-25.
And I see a lot of women who, you know, I don't understand this. They meet a man and they want a good man and they want the man to love their children and take care of their children, but then you don't get along with.
On the flip side,
you don't get along with their child. You don't get along with their son or daughter. I cannot understand that logic at all.
And you intentionally create a toxic situation.
Yes.
So Asia wants to change her last name to King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deep.
I mean, it's paperwork, signed, everything. I haven't allowed it though, and I mean, a lot of people look at me like, "Why?" Like, although I'm honored by it, and I love that she wants to do it. I swear I do. I still think that that's a decision you make when you become 18 years old.
I agree with you.
I'm never
so
gonna.
it don't look like you forced it on her.
Ain't none of that. But the thing about it is, I'm not. If you change your name or not, I'm loving you the same. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you feel like, hey, look, you done this, you did all this, and you 18 years old, you a grown woman, I'm gonna wear your name until somebody give me their name. That's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But you do that at 18 years old. We're not gonna do that. I mean, her father signed the paper for us to do it and everything. I just myself I'm not comfortable. She still asks me, and I just kind of be blowing. I'll probably kill myself now because she don't hear this. But I kind of just be blowing it off. But in my mind,
but sometimes as a step parent, you have to make the right decision for your child.
Yeah.
And you know, I go through that a lot with Zay because he's 17. He'll be 18 next month. And a lot of the stuff that he brings to me, you know, I have to kind of tiptoe around because I don't want to offend his mother and I don't want to offend his father. But I'm always honest with him because he asked me that same question. And, you know, Danny and I were talking about that the other day. His last name on his birth certificate is his mother's maiden name. Mm-hmm. Well, his mother has been married twice. So she no longer has her maiden name.
He the only one with it.
He said, why do I have the name of a man I don't even know? I want my father's last name. And I said, well, wait, now, we can talk about this. I'm not against that, but that's something that you need to talk to your mom and dad about, and you'll be 18 in less than 4 months. If that's something you want to do, you do it. But just make sure
you ain't gotta talk to nobody then.
Yeah, but you need to know with a name change, a lot changes. Your social security card changes. Yeah. Your diploma's gonna have to change. Your driver's license is gonna have to change. Your bills are gonna change. All those things change.
But that can be completion to some people.
Yeah, and I think that's how he feels about it because he wants to carry on his father's legacy. You know, he doesn't want to carry on that
says a lot about the man,
and that's instilled into you.
But even with me, you know, growing up, I don't have my father's last name. You know, my dad was drunk somewhere in jail when my mother had us, and she never changed our last name.
Well, I'm a junior.
Well, with my brother, he got pissed about it, so he wanted my dad's last name. And since my father passed in '95, we had to do all kinds of shit for my brother to be able to get a name change. Like we had to call my dad's mom, who lives in a whole nother city and state. She had to say, yes, that's his child. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Just for a name change. So just imagine in a blended family when the kids don't have the same last name and they wonder, why don't I have the name that my brother and sister had?
Yeah, it gotta be tough because then you're gonna feel like you're not part of the team. Exactly. It's like your jersey got a different name on the front.
But see, now my daughter getting older.
Damn, on the back. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's true. But then my daughter, she looks at it like, she getting to the point now where she got siblings. So, you know, she want to get to know them a little bit more. And in my mind, I said, I can't wait till she get old enough so I can tell her, see, this is why I didn't change it, though.
Yeah.
Because this is you. Like coming from a blended family.
Do they got the name?
She has her daddy last name, though.
I'm saying, so they probably got. Who knows?
Yeah.
We on camera.
Yeah.
Only on camera. Only on camera.
I mean, but, you know, again, but her dad, I'm sure he did some things that he wish he could take back. That, you know,
we all do. All parents.
You know, what I'm saying is he had baby was in a relationship and had other babies outside. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I had to explain this to my child who's already in a
and that is a hard
Yeah.
conversation
You know what I'm
to
saying?
have.
And it's like, you know,
See, man, this is hard for me to have a conversation, being that I'm not actively, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a step parent, but it does help people like me to understand
Yeah.
like what my wife goes through
Yeah.
or how she's
Yeah.
thinking about certain stuff, because there is some times where like I just don't understand, I don't get it, or why she might take offense
But
to
you saying all the way-
something that I'm doing
but you
or a
saying-
decision that me and
But you
my
said
child's
all-
mother made.
But you said all the way in. So the same way you want her all the way in, you have to allow her to be all the way in too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the- you
But
know
I
what I'm
do,
saying?
I do
Yeah.
feel like, you know, a lot of times when stuff happens with my stepchildren, they're old enough now that they tell me, and I either agree with it or I don't agree with it. I talk to their parent about it, and normally we all come to some type of agreement. But there are some times where, you know, like Zay wanted to get out of band, and he waited until his junior year to say he wanted to quit. And I'm like, man, you're deep in the band. Like, you put a lot of money in the band.
Sunken costs. Remember we talked about that.
And I asked him why, and he said, I feel like I can't focus on school. You know, I'm in pre-cal. He's in all these major classes. He's going to Ivy Tech to get his CNA, which he got. But he felt like it was too much pressure. So me being a mom, I'm like, hey, there's nothing that you can't handle. But his mother was like, no, he wants to quit. I'm going to let him quit. I had to step back because even though I am a
you
parent,
get the veto.
yeah, even though I am a parent, I can't make that decision for him. But I told him, I want you to make your decisions. I don't want to make them. I don't want your mother to make them for you.
I seen a meme that says
Want you to
a
make
step parent has to know when to step up and step back.
I don't ever step back.
Sometimes,
I don't.
Sometimes you got to step back.
And
You
that's
probably
hard.
do step back without knowing it. I mean, I didn't probably said some shit along them lines to my wife that probably came out wrong.
Not
you know
what
what
you
I mean?
meant,
Because
but
you
what
don't-
said.
Not how I meant, but the
Because
aggressive. Like if you
when you say
the
it,
way
you're
I
speaking
said
as a
it,
parent.
But if I seen that written down,
Yeah.
I would understand exactly how she took it. 'Cause I think I said something along the lines like, "You gotta stay in your place." You know what I mean?
Ooh, you
Not
wouldn't
meaning
have said
not
that.
meaning it
like
not
watch
meaning
out.
it like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
I get
you
what
know
you're
what I
saying.
mean? There's some
But
stuff
what
that
is her
like I'm
place?
gonna have to discuss.
When you said that,
with-
what did you mean?
it was like there's some stuff that I'm gonna have to discuss with my child's mother, and a consensus that had to be
With y'all too.
with us two about, you know what I mean, about
But
a
I think
situation
a lot
going
of
forward, and
times somebody just wants
and
to be included.
It came out
But
wrong.
Yeah, but to
It
me,
could have been said
But to
better.
me, even if you having the conversation with your child's mother, you still enlighten
Include,
her
yes.
before you go have the
Yeah, I
conversation.
mean, included, but there's gonna be times. I mean, even without the child involved, there's gonna be times where we're just not gonna agree.
Yeah, oh yeah, even with the
And-
mother.
yeah, and I mean, in a situation like that, this is what I'm gonna decide to do, and there's times that I'm gonna have to have that veto power. Like, well,
yeah.
I make the final decision.
Exactly.
Or there's sometimes where
veto both.
I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
well, she want to do this, and wifey might be like, no. You know what I mean? Nope. When we in this house,
This is what we do.
Yeah.
she get veto power. We going back and forth, but there's sometimes between the two households where, you know, there's
Conflicting.
Do you ever
Yeah.
feel like you have to pick a side when your child and your spouse aren't getting along?
Well, I think my child is too young.
Exactly.
I haven't really been to that level, but I know having a girl, I grew up in a household
I
with a
can-
mother and a sister.
I can speak on it.
So I know that the time is coming where
I can speak.
there's going to be
Well, I want to
bumping
know how y'all
heads.
handle that because, like, me being I'm a mom and I have my stepchildren happen to be boys, so we really don't disagree or bump heads or have arguments or disagreements.
'Cause
or nothing like
boys
that.
are easier.
What I say, that's the end of it. Like, they don't question me about nothing. Now, my little one, he did used to go run and tell his mama because once I whooped his ass, and she called me and she said, well, I don't whoop him, and I said, that's cool. I do. I whoop ass at my house. And she said, well, if you're going to be hitting him, he don't have to come over there no more. And it hurt me when she said that, but my rebuttal was, okay.
See, mine would be more along
That
the lines
lasted
of
2 weeks. Because one thing I know is we co-parent, we work with each other. He's not gonna let you. He's not gonna stay mad at me like you're mad. He knew that whooping was out of love, but you're mad because You think I'm trying to hurt him.
That sounds like a true mother. The whooping was out of love.
It was out of love.
It
I
hurt
whooped his
me
ass.
more
You
than it
damn
hurt
right.
you.
But when she said he can't come over there no more, I still firm on that. Okay, well, if you don't want me whooping his ass, he don't have to come over here because it's not like I'm setting out to whoop children. And it takes a lot for me to whoop ass. You know, I'm more of a verbal threater.
We're going to figure this shit out.
But when I did it and she said, well, you know, I don't agree with that. Okay, well, you and I can disagree. You know, how you discipline at your house is how you discipline, how I discipline in my house, how I discipline. But you should know that I loved him. I've nourished him. You know, he's about to be 12 years old.
Yeah.
Never have I harmed him. But if you feel like you going to run my house from your house, he just don't have to come. And like I said, that lasted 2 weeks because he had forgot all about the ass whooping. She just was still living in it.
But see, I feel like
wifey wasn't the ass whooper in my house. I was.
Yeah.
See, but I just feel like
I'm doling out the punish. But I mean, we've had it that too, to where it would be like, Danny, you got to do this, and I'm like, no, you need to talk to her about certain stuff. If it's something that happens,
you can't keep running to me as a
while
parent.
you there,
Yes.
like I don't want to just be the disciplinarian.
I feel like,
and that's how I feel. I'm the
but
bad
hold on,
parent.
before you go, the one thing I did want to say when we was talking about bumping heads, like it wouldn't necessarily be bumping heads, but my little one would be like normal kids. Can I have a cookie? No. Well, Daddy, can I have a cookie? You know what I mean? Me not knowing
you didn't say
that you done already asked.
But kids are smart,
you know
man.
what I
They
mean?
play on that.
And then it looks like sometimes it can create an issue.
I told her she
between
couldn't have no motherfucking cookie.
No.
Yeah, and it have been times where I didn't have to take my yes back.
Yeah.
but that
Like,
could.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that cookie turns into, can I get a tattoo?
Yeah,
Can I get
you're undermining me.
It turns into
and then you crumble our foundation of us in terms of parenthood, and now we don't even align.
Yeah.
But the kids,
and that's something that we try
but
to
the
be
kids learn
on
how
the
to-
same page.
Yes.
the
with.
kids learn how to play both
Yeah.
parents too.
They
Though.
do.
They don't
Hustle.
got nothing to do but figure it out though.
I mean, and
But-
it's not hard to figure out.
So what I do, and this
'Cause I did it.
This is just me. I did it
I
too.
think it comes with kids.
Yeah.
No, I mean I just
Except I didn't
personally-
have no dude to run to.
Well, I knew
Just
my dad
mama.
was never gonna tell me no. Ever. My daddy never told me no.
See,
ever.
I think the key to it all, though, at the end of the day, when you have building families and people can take this and run with it, is you have to build a relationship regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't matter. Because, like, just as much as I may show Asia a little bit more attention, you don't think my kids looking like, well, why he go a little harder? But they don't understand.
Yeah.
We have this bond that she knows that I understand. I've sat down in tears and had conversations with Asia that I would never have to have with my kids because
Exactly.
you have me.
You
know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and there's in a sense though, even if her dad was more active or doing better, and I believe out of sight, out of mind. I don't care what it is. So like what you do is hats off because you stay just as active.
Yeah.
I believe out of sight, out of mind.
Consistent.
But
Yeah, I ain't with that. I don't understand.
I think
that.
you have to realize that abandonment is a real issue.
It is.
So whenever a kid feels abandoned,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? Like now
Yeah.
you're gonna reach for it and you're gonna try to go get it bad
And that's
ways.
right. And I feel like, I mean, this ain't no pun against my husband or any of his other children's mothers. I have been the one thing that has been consistent
in all their lives.
Yeah.
in all of their lives. Because again, like I said, they have little brothers and sisters who have different fathers, and they come across those people. And all my kids know is their father. It doesn't make me better than anyone. I'm not saying that because even in my situation, I mean, I'm going through a divorce. Yes, he's the father of my 3 children, but I'm going through a divorce, so things do change. But one thing that my son
When you
told
meet a
me,
nigga like Anthony, they're gonna have to be like, dang.
well, my kids ain't going for it. They're not going for no stepdad.
So you might as well wait. But at the age of your kids, all jokes aside,
I don't mind waiting. I mean,
you
I
might
can,
as
So
well
they not gonna be in the blended family.
no, I can dip out, get what I need, and dip back.
yeah.
I mean, for me,
Which
where
keeps
I
the
am,
bullshit down though.
yeah.
No, I'm just
I mean,
saying.
it does
yeah,
the
but-
more people who hands get in
but
that
I
pot,
was introduced
it
to my
complicates
stepchildren
things.
as little kids. My kids now are 16, 17, 12, and 13. They're going to be looking at you like, nigga, what you want with my mama? Whereas I met them when they were infants. I changed their Pampers. I fed them.
and that's like
I
my
bathed
situation.
them.
But you go back to blended
Since
families
birth.
though. So like, and us kids, we cruel by nature. Kids don't even understand.
Yeah.
So we got older and then, my mom and in marriage, things wasn't working out. That's fine when you 6. But you're not about to be talking to my mama like
Yeah,
that.
see,
no
I
14
wouldn't be
years
able to
old.
imagine that.
You get what I'm saying though? Like it gets to the point where, you know what, I'm gonna take, you might whip my ass, but I'm about to take my chances now, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I couldn't imagine that.
But you in a
with my
relationship,
mama
though.
being the kid in that situation, knew, like, because with my situation, like you were saying, been there since day one.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine 6, 9 years old
Me
into
just
my
bringing
life.
Jack over and he drinking my
Jack-
kids'
yeah,
Kool-Aid.
drinking the
Levin gonna be
baby
like,
boy,
hey,
baby boy.
but
get
you
up
know
off
what
my
I mean?
Kool-Aid.
Making omelets and
But this is
you
what
know
I'm
what
gonna
I
tell you
mean?
though. This is how it works though. You know how like sometimes, and I know this probably don't happen with y'all, but it may have happened, but you ain't gonna let it out. Is what I'm saying. Your mama might get mad at Nitra or something, and you know y'all fixed it and y'all cool, but your mama really still kind of got an attitude or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we don't go through that. Hey, that's one thing I will
No, I'm
say.
saying-
let me tell
that
y'all
I,
something.
I hit a lick with my in-laws.
I can hit a lick on it real quick.
No, I'm saying-
my mother-in-law.
Shout out to my in-laws and my mama.
My mother-in-law and I did not get along for years.
What I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
but hear me.
they don't forget though.
No.
So the kid don't forget.
No.
Like, when you
and that's what
you
and,
get what I'm
and
saying?
that's
Like-
what I was
Yeah.
about to say. My kids feel differently about my mother than their dad's
Different.
mother. They call her other Nana.
That's crazy.
Other that's what they call her.
That hurt.
That
they
is crazy.
they love her, but you know, like when Levin was growing up, he used to always say, "Why she call me Blackie?" Because you know, Zay's light skin, and I felt like it was creating conflict because Levin was starting to have a complex because he was darker
Yeah,
than
you
Zay.
plant
You know,
that
because it was just
seed.
him and Zay.
You plant that
or,
seed.
one time she made a comment to me. She was like, "Well, they have their father. Zay doesn't live with you," and I'm like, "Well, you know, things happen." He doesn't live with me, but that doesn't take away from the father Lamarck is. He's just not full time at home with them all the time. And plenty of families grew up like that. I mean, my dad was in the house, but he was never in the house.
Man, I grew up thinking it was normal not to have
A father.
a daddy in there. Whole neighborhood.
Yes.
y'all call on me.
Yes,
okay,
King.
So I think that the consistency is the most important part of it though. But I do think that sometimes, and I know I do this, sometimes when you're in a blended family that you pay attention to the one that you feel like
Needs it the most.
Yeah.
needs it the most, but you also forget those who may need it too though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've
Like,
done that. I've done
'cause
that.
I've dropped the ball on some stuff because I mean like, but I also still think in the same sense it's a slippery slope because it's different ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get
and this
Naya a
one-
pair of Vans, she happy.
Yeah.
Asian want to just do it though.
Yeah.
Hard. you know what I'm saying? You like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy because that you say that because my youngest boy always says he feels like Levin and Isaiah get everything. And I tell him, well, they ask,
And there's levels to this shit.
they take
For real.
better care of it, and you are growing so fast. I can't keep up.
and what them grades
Yeah.
like? What them grades do?
Well, and that's a big factor too.
Yeah.
Because you know, I tell Isaiah all the time, you can get whatever you want because you make straight A's. So I don't even tell Levin that. And Levin sometimes like, oh, you always comparing me to Isaiah. No, I'm not comparing you to Isaiah.
It's hard to say no
But
when they
this
get
is
straight
what it
A's.
is.
too,
You
though. It's
asked
hard.
me
and
why, and this was my
that's
example.
another thing. Mine is so different since it's only 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I got
similar,
5.
not similar in age.
2
Nope.
and young too though. You
Do
ain't hit
whatever
it yet.
for Noonie. Demi won't know.
No, won't pay no
Won't
attention.
care. Give her
looking
ice
at
cream.
Yeah.
She cool. But I will say, like coming into it with Noonie being my first child, I went way, way harder, especially financially.
Well, you didn't know no better.
I went way, way
Brand
harder.
new being a parent.
Brand new being a parent,
Ooh,
and not
Carl
having that when I came up.
Yes.
I overdid everything.
Everything.
Ooh,
Remember,
Carl
Levin
overdid
had all the
everything.
Mecca outfits. He had every pair of
Carl-
Jordans. Levin had the gold
Everything.
chain.
Then you get that
Lightning
next child,
McQueen
you
room.
like,
Slow down.
Call on me.
but it being my wife's first child,
She went hard.
now
on
we
it.
at different.
Yeah.
so look
you know
though.
what I mean?
Ooh, that's what I was trying to say though.
Annie.
Cause I was your wife, so to speak, in the situation. I don't know how you gonna fix this one, but good luck.
Me either. She must have heard me say it her dad.
Where's your mama?
Oh, this messed up.
Oh,
Pause.
y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead and have a conversation. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this what happens when you're in a blended family.
Yeah. This is blended family right here. So, you gotta go upstairs, baby. Well, come give me a hug then. You done messed up the show now. Come give me a hug. Come on. This is blended family. Y'all see it? Love you.
Get on, Mickey Mouse.
All right, so Danny said that he was going through it, and I kind of went through it. So when Naya was born, it was Asia's. She had already had Asia, so
Right.
I'm like kind of over it. Like this is my first one,
Right.
and I'm sitting back
You
looking like,
going over the top.
why you don't care?
Yeah. See,
Until the second one came, I'm thinking like, that's why she was
doing it like this.
all this and doing all this for nothing. Like
exactly, because you don't. As a first parent, you want to do everything. You want to do everything that you didn't have, do everything you didn't get, and then
but it's really
or not even financial.
Yeah, just everything.
Like, fall off the bed. First one, you there. Second one is like, she just fell off the bed. You know what I mean?
Hey, but that's crazy because I don't know about all that. Way. And then you be trying to tell them like, calm down.
Yeah,
like calm down. Like I got one of my goddaughters, the one right after her. She had Tay is her name. I don't want to seem like I don't know her. she had her first birthday party, and Trina, which is her mom, was just like going. And Terrell, he got a couple kids, and I'm knowing we got 4 kids.
The name dropping.
Yeah, name dropping. They be all right. They love me. But what I'm saying is, she didn't realize, and it wasn't her fault, and I had to kind of help him conversate because I remember feeling like that though. Like you ain't even tripping. Yeah. Like I felt hurt a little bit though. Yeah. Like you got to make this like this is the first time though. Yeah. Like that shit is huge.
Yeah. See, like when I was
playing and me. It's like this is my and it's like this is my first time. You know.
and sometimes it makes a difference. I notice with a lot of men I meet now, like when I'm not on the dating scene, but I'm on the dating scene. A lot of guys, they want to have, like I say I'm done because I count all 5 of my kids as my children. So when I meet, a lot of the men that I'm meeting right now are, 30, 31, 32, and they don't have any children. So when they tell me that they won't have kids, I ain't the one for you. I'm not the woman for you. But also,
check, please.
The doctor's appointments and the football games and the basketball games and the dentist appointments and running.
But when you don't know
there.
what it takes to raise a kid, your mind ain't thinking like that.
I don't want that again.
And then what kind of parent are you going to be? Are you going to be the parent that just come home and hey, we chilling, or are you going to be active like that? Shit matters though.
And it's weird though because a lot of parents
Shout
feel
out to
like. So for instance, with my oldest stepson,
for real.
His dad didn't make it to all the doctor's appointments. But then since we were together with Levins, he made it to every single doctor's appointment.
So let's go there.
Every single one.
I didn't miss not one of Tasha's pregnant with Anaya. But by the time Ashton got there, like, call me, tell me what they said.
Yeah, see, and then and that's what I was gonna say. So then with Landon, he made it to some of them, and with DeWine. You know what I mean? So
slowing down.
Yeah, slowing
down.
You just done been through it, man.
And you notice those things, or like Landon was like, Dad did all the donuts with dads with Levin. He did all the field trips with Levin. He did all the everything with Levin. And I'm like, okay, you can't be comparing yourself to your brothers. You have to teach them those things. But in a blended family, that's all he sees.
And that's what you're gonna
say. Your
dad
don't have the same job he had 5 years ago.
This ain't even like blended family. But when we was growing up, my sister is how old? Much older? 7. Yeah, she 16 years older than me. She used to tell us all the time, like, your mama different than the mama I grew up with.
You dang gone right.
You ain't got the same. We ain't had the same mama.
Yeah.
My mama was 20 with her, 35 with me. Now just think of your years between.
I'll
20,
tell you right now.
You a totally
35
different
right now.
person.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm tell you this. Ashton's 7 years old. I could be laying on the couch and Ashton would come in, sleep with me on my chest, and I would not even care. I would have threw Trey ass across the damn room. Or with like, get your soft ass shit away.
At my wife's grandma's house, Demi can do no wrong. Mm-hmm. And if some of her older cousins are there, they be like, you would have killed us for doing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
would have killed. But
that's what I tell my children about
things.
my mom. I'm like, y'all don't have. Listen, that's Nana to y'all. That's my mama. Yeah. It's not the same.
I'm gonna tell you this,
we're not the same. We were not created equal.
If God hears me and blesses me, if it's one thing I want to do is be a grandparent, man. I think that second time
that's
go
gonna be
around
dope.
is
and you get to give them back.
Yeah,
I'm not ready.
I want to shut it down.
I think being an uncle or auntie is like practice.
I ain't get that privilege.
Yeah,
my brother don't have no kids.
I'm a shitty ass uncle.
You know who you are.
My brother
She's trying to be an auntie.
I got to get better at being an uncle. I kind of realized that the last couple weeks too, though.
So how do you feel like you are as a step parent, though? Like, do you?
Oh, I'm the shit.
You see, and that's how I feel.
Hands down.
I feel like.
Hold on, I'm not a step parent, so ask me because I did have a situation.
Okay, let me hear your situation.
My sisters. Some people call them sisters.
Hold on,
but I call them sisters.
Hold on, let me do that. I'm the shit because of experience too, though. Not just because I'm just the shit. Yeah.
I feel like I was the shit too, my nigga. Because once you come into my household, you are pretty much equal to everybody in my household.
Exactly.
But to go back with what we were talking about, I did feel like there was a barrier when it came to discipline. Because some stuff that I did go through with them being older, like somebody should be getting killed right now for what y'all talking about. But you know what I mean? But
and they're
you don't
older,
necessarily.
so their mouths are different. They didn't grow with you. They don't know what
and
you
they've
consider
already
disrespect.
became who they were.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that really gave me some insight into how my wife felt. Mm-hmm. Even though Noonie younger, but to do everything. I'm paying these bills. You know what I mean? Making sure y'all eat, helping with homework and all of this. And then
that's
like
still a blended
when
family.
you feel like you don't need
blended,
me,
Danny.
that it can just be like
That's blended though.
Yeah, I'm saying I did that for a year or two. I don't even remember how long it is. But and then after I done all of this, then when you feel like you don't need me or you don't want to listen, it's like
I also too personally though, and I think that if you don't know no better. I believe that a lot of step parents that are with someone who's not get taken for granted.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I don't believe it's enough appreciation.
Oh,
to
it's
people
not.
who,
But I also feel like there are
saying?
step parents who don't want to deal with your kids. They only want you to deal with theirs.
Yeah.
And I just can't understand it. I don't understand how you could be with a woman or a man who does not see their children, but they're around yours all the time. Or
that's some weird
especially
shit.
with women and the way
Step
they
your
beef with
game
people's
up, fellas,
daughters. You know,
and
yeah.
women.
Stop. If I was to meet a man and his daughter did not like me, I would not try to make her like me. I would just try to understand what is it.
You
know
what I mean?
You know, like this?
And I'm not gonna argue with no child. I mean, you're not gonna disrespect me, but I'm not gonna argue with a child. I'm just not. So that's what I think makes it kind of hard to date and meet people my age with children, because their kids already having it. I know for a fact my boys having in their mind they're not dealing with you. So I'm sure if I was to meet somebody my age with daughters their age, they would probably feel the same. But there's also those little girls who didn't have a mother at all. So they're welcome. You know, they're more welcoming to a woman coming into their life.
I mean, that goes for personality too.
Yeah,
though. So,
yeah.
Because some people are just more friendly than others.
And like they say about kids, like kids know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You not authentic, kids know, especially the little ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All they know is how I feel. They ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing and all that.
And even
some
with
of
like
that can lead to show how you really are. You might not have never popped off, and the kid might walk up like,
I have to see you with kids.
Daddy, why she fat?
Yeah.
Or mommy, why he this? You know what I mean? And you might pop off like your facade then fell off.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the mask that came off.
Your representative
left.
Yeah.
If I were in that situation, I just think that I just wouldn't even want nobody else around my kids. Like, it ain't even no
And that's
point,
what I was gonna say.
though.
So if
like,
you was to divorce, you would still take care of your daughter who's not yours.
Yeah.
And you would try to make sure you're consistent in your children's life. So where
I think some things change though.
Yeah, of course they will.
I believe that.
I mean, divorce or death.
Yes.
People die.
So you say divorce, like, so I think what Asia would get if I'm in a marriage would be different. Would not say she would never not get nothing, but things would change if we were divorced. Like if you got a $200,000 life insurance, you get what I'm saying? You're not going to say, I'm going to split this 4 different ways and we're divorced. It depends on how you divorce.
See, I still would. But I just think
different.
different.
Listen to me.
Keep it the same.
No. Listen to me.
I mean,
it depends on why and how. Because some, not, thank God, I don't think this will ever be my case. But some people divorce because of the kid, though.
Yeah.
That's the crazy. See, and that's something all of us got in common is that it's not the like the TV situation. This kid 13, and now comes a step parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been there. This is what you know.
Yeah.
You're not introducing
So with me, with
a
Asia,
brand new person.
but-
And that, I think some of the issue with that is that brings along like, I'm just not fucking with you on the strength of you not my mama or that you not my daddy.
And a lot of times
but when
that's
you
what it
come
is.
up like that, this is all I know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I done seen your good, your bad, your I know how you discipline. I know you love me. But when it's somebody new, you kind of like.
But see, me with Asia, she was 1. So it's
That's
like
the same
that's what
thing.
I'm saying.
Yeah, like,
From down from day one.
Yeah, so I don't think that she would ever be a reason. But I think when she got older, she kind of felt like, I can manipulate this situation like this, right? Don't get me wrong.
I think that's a kid thing.
It is.
Right, it is. No, I'm not saying she was wrong for it, but I'm saying it took me a while to see what was going on. So then I had to sit back and say, okay, well, let her be comfortable and make this mistake again. So you got to come see the piper, and we fix it.
And I'm gonna correct you. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So it took me probably a little while, and once I checked it, it was like, well, now we don't got this problem
okay,
anymore.
I can't do that no way. Yeah.
So with both of y'all being step parents, have y'all ever been through a "you not my mama, you not my daddy" situation?
Never.
I love her to death.
Never.
I would hit her in her mouth.
Never. They've never said that to me. Never.
But see, I think that the respect, and I don't mean that, because I probably wouldn't.
My kids probably be saying, I don't want you to be
that's
my
just
mama.
I'm all barking.
My kids probably yell, I don't want you to be my mama before my stepkid.
Yeah. I don't, but you
that's
know what,
crazy.
though?
That's so true.
She could get mad, bro, but I don't think the same way, like, my kids would never even open their mouth to disrespect me that way. Like, at some point, though, like, because that's one thing I do.
Ground laws have already been laid.
Do old school, like, man, I'm putting the fear of God in you. Think I'm playing with you. I don't care.
My mom used to tell I take you. I brought you in this world. I'll take you out. I'll whoop your ass.
But see, even like the blended.
Let me tell you how Trey started riding a bike. I said, "What you think is harder, that concrete or me hitting you in your motherfucking mouth?"
Ooh.
That nigga out there.
That's tough, but it's true. Ride that bike,
dude. But I'm saying, and that's my son. I love him to death. But I know my son has a problem with fear. And I keep trying to get him to say, "Hey man, only thing
fear is irrational.
Fear is itself,
and that's what he's
irrational.
You know the difference in your children. So one thing you might say, like the way I talk to Levin is not the same way I talk to Dewan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Levin's grades slacked off, I had a different approach with him. I'm like, listen, you are not a C student.
Yeah.
He's like, if Landon get a C, you don't say something. Well, Landon gets C's. You don't. So, but I mean, you have to know to talk to them like that.
They're going to tires again.
You not a C. And stop comparing yourself. Don't compare yourself to your brother. Yeah, because you see him getting away with it. But I've had that happen, like I said, because I have stepkids in the house and they feel like, well, wait a minute, you didn't say nothing to so-and-so.
Damn, I had some dope shit to say, man.
Right.
Before I said
he done messed up.
Oh man, it was gonna be a good one.
And then you get a lot of times where like grandparents, like my grandmother before she passed and my grandfather before he passed, they treated my kids and my stepchildren like theirs. If they gave my boys $50 for Christmas, everybody got 50. My uncles and aunts,
you don't want to build that resentment.
Yes.
Or to where you can create a situation to where, okay, she didn't do this to me, I don't even fuck with my brother like that no more.
Yeah.
Because you resent that shit.
But see, I think though, like, so say if my I'm just a firm believer though, if you all the way in, all the way out, if you love, you love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if Asia met a dude and he had another kid and he comes in with you, he's a part. Like that's gotta be, because you gotta love each other at the end of the day.
But not all, like with the grandparent thing, not all grandparents feel that way.
No, they don't.
For real.
And not all parents even feel that way. Because
people,
because
People,
a lot of times you can meet somebody and that your significant other's parents is like, well, I'm still on the ex. I like this first baby mama.
But that I feel that's a level of maturity that everybody don't reach.
No.
You know what I mean? Age don't mean shit. It's the maturity. Because if you can do something like that,
everybody don't grow.
You probably not the best type of person to be around me, period. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how could you or I mean, if you take it like that, like parents that don't accept biracial kids or something like that. Like, it takes a low down motherfucker to be able to do some shit like that.
To a child.
To a child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you
when
you already bitter,
this your blood.
You ain't looking at it like that. Like the bitter person ain't looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, it's like,
and it's bitter parents.
But even in my profession, though, I look at people all the time, and I'm looking at teachers. And you still mad at this 8-year-old kid for something that happened Tuesday and it's fucking Friday?
Yeah. But you can really hold on to that.
But you're 24 with no kids, you don't understand.
You don't understand. Yes. And everybody cannot be a parent. I'm just telling you.
Exactly. And because you cannot take shit personal from a child.
No.
Like, and I hate when people
that brutally honesty hurts you though.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I ain't even gonna say I don't like, I'm gonna go back to I hate when people expect adult thinking or
from a child.
Yeah. Just because you already know better, like this is a kid.
Yeah.
A kid is not thinking well, if I do this now,
this is gonna be happening
in a year from now. This is gonna happen. They not thinking like they thinking.
But a lot of
right now, this little lie they telling is for right now,
and that's it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
it.
laying the groundwork to a big ass.
It's not a chess move.
I'm trying to get out of this situation right now.
You know what I mean?
And even and two, like in relationships, a lot of times when you meet a woman who's got kids, let's just say she was married before, dated somebody before, and she has children with him, and then she meets this new guy and his kids, she doesn't know what it's like to be a child and your dad has a new woman or a new mother, and that's why you don't respect it. You don't get it, so you don't understand it. So you leave it alone. And you don't even try to make peace with the child.
New shit is scary.
Yeah, especially to a child. Yeah,
an adult is scared of new shit. A child scared of new shit. Or you don't know how this other person raised that kid.